Every news station said that the person was hurt but expected to fully recover. It made me so mad, and I have no idea why. Princess Diana's sister, Lady Sarah, is admired for always being there for Diana and being loyal to her. She was Diana's trusted friend and confidante, helping her do her royal tasks and being there for her when her marriage fell apart. When she buckled up, she did it the right way. Why did she not wear it that night? I have no idea. Lady Sarah, who is a dedicated humanitarian, has carried on Diana's charitable work, making sure that her sister's name goes on. Lady Sarah met King Charles for a short time before she married Neil McCorquodale. She tearfully confirmed long-running rumors, which made people curious. There are still no details about the proven rumors, which makes people wonder if they have anything to do with her relationship with King Charles, or what Diana went through. Come with us as we look into this new information that Lady Sarah has revealed. Before we get into the specifics, let's take a look at Lady Sarah and Lady Diana's early lives. Lady Sarah's early life. When she was born, Lady Sarah McCorquodale was named Elizabeth Sarah Lavinia Spencer and had the title honorable after the death of her grandpa in 1975. Her father became the 8th Earl Spencer, and she was given the title Lady. During her early adult years, Lady Sarah overcame psychological problems such as eating disorders. As she went to school, she went from Riddlesworth Hall School in Norfolk to West Heath Boarding School in Kent. As soon as Lady Sarah finished her O-levels, she went to work in London. To really understand the bond between Lady Sarah and Princess Diana, we need to learn more about her life. Also, what rumor did Lady Sarah reveal that made everyone lose it? Check back to find out. First few years of her life, Frances Spencer was born on July 1st, 1961, at Park House in Sandringham, Norfolk. Her parents were Viscount Althorp John Spencer and Frances Spencer. Diana was the 4th of 5 kids. The Spencer family was very close to the British royal family. Her grandma worked as a lady-in-waiting for Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. Diana's parents wanted a boy to continue the family name, so they didn't choose a name for her until a week after she was born. She was named for both her mother and a distant cousin, Lady Diana Spencer. Because she was so royal, her family affectionately called her Dutch. The baptism took place at St. Mary Magdalene Church, Sandringham, on August 30th, 1961. As a child, she had Sarah Jane Charles and a brother named John, who died before she was born. Her parents' marriage was stressed by the need to have an heir. When Diana was young, she lived at Park House, which was rented from Queen Elizabeth II. She called Queen Elizabeth II Aunt Olivia. The royal family often went to Sandringham House, which was right next door, and Diana played with Princes Andrew and Edward. Diana's parents split up when she was 7 years old. After that, her mother married Peter Shankidd. But Diana moved in with her dad when he got custody. It was hard for her to get along with her stepmother, Reine, Countess of Dartmouth, whom her father married in 1976. Diana said that her childhood was insecure and full of sadness. Diana was called Lady Diana after her father was made Earl Spencer in 1975. The family moved from Park House to Althorp in Northamptonshire, which is the Spencer home. As a child, Lady Diana spent a lot of time with the royal family. Was she already on the way to marry into the royal family? Keep listening to find out. The start of a royal love story. Following the breakup, Sarah took Diana, her younger sister, to an event to meet Charles. Diana fell in love with the prince right away when she was only 16, and he felt the same way about her. Princess Diana's youth and charm made Prince Charles feel better after he broke up with Sarah. Diana thought Charles was the only man she couldn't leave, even though she was young. It turned out to be eerily true that what was said. Diana wasn't pleased by Charles when they met for the first time because she thought he looked sad. Diana was a shy girl, but Charles had been a royal for a long time. Even though they were different, there was a spark between them. In an interview for an engagement in 1981, Charles talked about their first meeting and said that Diana was happy, funny, and beautiful. This lively description brought out the qualities in Diana that would make her liked by millions of people. Diana and Prince Charles met for a short time and then went their different ways. Diana kept going to school, and Charles kept doing his job as king. That meeting did, however, start a friendship that would become one of the most famous in royal history. Diana and Charles met again after 3 years. Charles was weak after breaking up with his girlfriend and losing Lord Mountbatten, who was his guide. Diana thought he was easier to talk to, and Charles was moved by how she felt. At a cookout, Charles kissed Diana out of the blue, which started a relationship. When Diana spent the weekend at Balmoral with Charles, everyone knew about their new romance. Diana felt overwhelmed by all the attention, but she was determined to deal with the stresses of dating a king. They mostly talked on the phone because Charles was very busy during their courtship. Diana and Prince Charles had only met 13 times before he asked her to marry him, which made their bond hard. Diana stayed loyal, even though they had disagreements. The Queen and Duke of Edinburgh told everyone that Charles and Diana were getting married, which meant that the Prince of Wales was going to marry Lady Diana Spencer. It was 3 weeks after Charles asked her to marry him. Charles told the BBC that he asked Diana to marry him before she went to Australia with her mother, so she would have time to think about it. Diana, however, agreed right away. Diana was sure when she said they were in love during their proposal interview, but Charles didn't say what he meant by love. This hurt Diana and made her feel confused. Diana was still eager to make their relationship work, even though this happened. People were thrilled when they got engaged, drawn in by the story of the charming prince and beautiful young lady falling in love. The media went crazy over their romance and upcoming wedding in a way that had never been seen before. Every little thing was carefully watched and praised. As the wedding day got closer, everyone became even more excited. As Lady Diana and Prince Charles got closer, people wondered if they would get married to make their love official, or if it would end in heartbreak like Prince Charles's relationship with Lady Sarah. Check back to find out. The royal wedding of Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer. Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer were going to get married at St. Paul's Cathedral on July 29, 1981. It looked like it would be a big event with famous people and royalty from all over the world. A lot of people around the world were looking forward to seeing Diana's wedding dress, which was made by David and Elizabeth Emanuel, became a famous wedding dress. Its 25-foot train, detailed lace, and thousands of pearls made Diana look beautiful and stylish, and they drew people in from all over. As the big day got closer, people got more excited. Millions of people fell in love with Charles and Diana's story. Hopeful people crowded the streets of London on July 29th to catch a look of the royal couple. 75 million people around the world watched the wedding. With her father, Earl Spencer, by her side, Diana arrived at St. Paul's Cathedral in a glass coach. Everything was stunned by Diana's beauty and ease as she walked down the aisle. The ceremony was a mix of old and new, which showed how special the pair is in the history of royalty. Prince Charles and Lady Diana said their vows in front of 2,600 people, including heads of state, royalty, and famous people. The Archbishop of Canterbury led the ceremony, which was shown to millions of people around the world. Diana's sister Lady Sarah was proud to say that she was the one who set them up, calling herself Cupid. Some people thought Lady Sarah might have been lonely or angry because she dated Prince Charles before he fell in love with Diana. There isn't any strong proof, but rumors that Lady Sarah is angry made the royal romance story more interesting. Even though Lady Sarah tried to stay out of the royal glare, rumors kept going around. Some people were stuck in the past and said that Lady Sarah never fully got over her relationship with Prince Charles, even after he married her sister Diana. There were rumors that Lady Sarah was angry and jealous about her sister Diana's marriage to the prince. Sarah, on the other hand, focused on her own happiness and freedom and stopped giving in to royal demands. Because she was a princess, Princess Diana had a lot of responsibilities, but she loved helping people. Where would she draw the line between her royal tasks and her desire to help people through charity work? Check back to find out. Princess Diana told Newfoundland's leader Brian Peckford in 1983 that she was having a hard time with the pressures of being a princess. Even with these problems, Princess Diana kept doing her job as a public figure by visiting schools, hospitals, and other places. From the middle of the 1980s on, Diana got more involved with charities that helped people with serious diseases like AIDS and leprosy. She probably had a bigger impact on charity than anyone else in the 20th century, according to the head of the UK Institute of Charity Fundraising Managers. Diana gave money to many groups that helped the old, the homeless, and young people who were addicted to drugs. From 1989 to 2010, she was president of Great Ormond Street Hospital for Children. She was also a patron of the Natural History Museum and the Royal Academy of Music. Diana did charity work all over the world, helping groups like the British Red Cross and its branches around the world. She often went to Royal Brompton Hospital to comfort people who were very sick. One organization Princess Diana supported was Headway, which helps people with brain injuries. Another was the Chester Childbirth Appeal. Diana helped start Child Bereavement UK in 1994 to help kids whose families were in the military, who had been hurt, or whose parents were dying. In the end, her son William became the charity's royal patron. Diana's kindness earned her many awards, such as the Honorary Freedom of the City of London in 1987 and the United Cerebral Palsy Humanitarian of the Year Award in 1995. The British Red Cross anti-personnel landmines campaign was still important to Princess Diana. When Diana opened the Richard Attenborough Center for Disability in the Arts in 1997, she also sold some of her clothes to raise money for good causes. The last thing she had to do for work was go to Northwick Park Hospital on July 21, 1997. Princess Diana started working with people who had AIDS in the 1980s, despite the negative views that were common at the time. Unlike many people at the time, she cared about her patients by touching them. In 1987, she shook hands with a person who had AIDS, making news and helping to take away the shame surrounding the disease. Diana said it again, having HIV doesn't make people dangerous. They need help and love. The Queen told Diana to focus on nicer charities instead, but Diana kept doing her job. Diana opened Gwen's House in Washington, D.C., and the Landmark AIDS Center in South London in 1989. In 1990, taking care of young people with AIDS. As a friend of the National AIDS Trust, she often went to London Lighthouse to care for HIV patients. In 1991, Diana hugged a Middlesex hospital patient with AIDS, which made people even more skeptical. Diana also gave money to Turning Point, a health group that helps people with HIV/AIDS. In 1997, she went to South Africa and met Nelson Mandela. Mandela stated that the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund and the Diana Princess of Wales Memorial Fund would work together to support AIDS projects after she died. Mandela praised Diana's work, saying she changed public attitudes and improved lives by touching and caring for people with HIV/AIDS. Mandela also said that Diana used her fame to fight stigma. The Halo Trust gets rid of bombs that were left behind by war. Diana supported this cause. The problem got a lot of attention around the world when she went to an Angolan minefield in 1997, while wearing a ballistic helmet and a flak jacket. Even though she was criticized, Diana's work brought more attention to landmines and how terrible they are. The Ottawa Treaty, which banned anti-personnel landmines, was signed because of her effort. Even though she died a few months ago, the effort to ban landmines around the world won the Nobel Peace Prize. Diana's first public trip by herself was to London's Royal Marsden NHS Foundation Trust, a hospital that treats cancer. In 1989, she became head of the hospital, and in 1993, she opened the Wolfson Children's Cancer Unit. Diana also helped with cancer research in Pakistan, Chicago, and Washington, D.C. by going to fundraisers and meeting patients, AIDS, HIV, and bed nets. Diana started Children with Leukemia, which is now called Children with Cancer UK, in honor of two young people who had died from cancer in 1988. She got to know the family of Jean O'Gorman, who died of cancer, and helped start the charity. Diana worked with the group until she died in 1997. Princess Diana went to an Indonesian leprosy hospital in November 1989, making her want to help those who are suffering. She helped the leprosy mission by giving them medicine, treatment, and assistance. Diana went to hospitals all over the world, including those in India and Nepal, Zimbabwe, and Nigeria, until she died in 1997. Diana's simple but powerful act of touching people who had leprosy helped remove the myth that the disease can be spread by touching someone. She said, "I want to show that people with leprosy are not looked down upon or disliked." The Diana Princess of Wales Memorial Fund paid for the building of the Diana Princess of Wales Health Education and Media Centre in India in her memory in 1999. This centre helps people who have disease or disabilities. Behind the walls of the castle, a royal marriage that seemed perfect hid a shocking truth. What caused this royal crisis? Lady Sarah may have played a role, but the problems between Prince Charles and Princess Diana were the only ones. Let's find out. The scandal at court. Diana's marriage to Prince Charles was one of the hardest times. As rumors of cheating spread, Diana turned to Sarah for help. Because Sarah had dated Charles herself, she had a deep understanding of Diana's problems, which made her support even more important. The friendship between him and Camilla Parker got stronger. It was said that Charles and Camilla were having an affair by the middle of the 1980s. The scandal was kept secret by the royal family, but seeing Charles and Camilla together at events and meetings made people think something was up. People who were close to them knew they were close, but most people didn't know until later. They would finally find out the truth about their relationship, which would cause one of the biggest scandals in the history of the royal family. In the 1980s, Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles' friendship grew closer, even though both were married at the time. Charles to Princess Diana and Camilla to Andrew Parker Bowles. Friends kept it a secret, but the royal family found it hard to hide. It was impossible to avoid the rumors. By 1986, Charles and Camilla were often seen together at private parties, and it was clear that they were very close. People started talking about how they were dating, but it wasn't until the early 1990s that everyone found out the whole story. In 1993, a recorded phone call from 1989 between Charles and Elizabeth showed how close they were. The transcript, which is now known as Camillagate or Tampongate, showed suggestive comments, such as Charles's famous comment that he wanted to live in Camilla's pants. The phone call that got out caused a scandal that made British media go crazy. People became more and more interested in the private lives of the royal family. Charles's image was hurt by the scandal, and it cast a dark shadow over the monarchy. In a 1994 TV conversation with Jonathan Dimbleby, Charles talked about the rumors. He said he cheated on his wife after their marriage ended, but he didn't say Camilla was his lover. In 1995, Princess Diana gave an honest BBC Panorama interview in which she said, "The public admired her grace and compassion." Princess Diana was honest about her problems in the royal family, her feelings of betrayal, and how Prince Charles' affair affected her marriage. Many people felt sorry for her because she was honest, which hurt Charles's image even more. The royal family, which is known for being private, was closely watched by the public. Their lives were written about in the news. Even though Princess Diana had a hard time getting over the incident, she hoped to be happy again. But then something terrible happened. What terrible thing would happen that would break her hopes for a better future? Keep listening to find out. A royal tragedy. The last moments of Princess Diana. The problems in Charles and Diana's marriage got so bad that they split up in 1992 and got a divorce in 1996. During this hard time, Diana's relationship with her sisters Sarah and Jane stayed strong. Diana relied on them as a strong support system, especially when things went wrong, like when she got divorced and the media focused on her. After they got divorced, Charles and Diana shared parenting of their children until August 1997, when Diana tragically died in a car accident in Paris. Diana and her partner, Dodi Fayed, came back to the Ritz Hotel in Paris on August 31st, 1997, after a nice summer break. Diana called her boys when she got there, while Dodi went to the Rapace jewelry store. At first, they were going to eat at Chez Benoit, but the large group of photographers made them change their minds. They chose to have a quiet dinner at Les Padans, the hotel restaurant, instead. They chose to eat in the Imperial Suite because it was too crowded where they were. Dodi picked turbot, while Diana got mushrooms and asparagus first, then sole. They had no idea that this dinner would be one of their last times together. Around 12:15 a.m., after their meal, bad things happened. To get away from the cameras, Diana and Dodi quickly left the Ritz Hotel through the back door. The paparazzi were riding motorbikes and following their driver, Henry Paul, very fast through the streets of Paris. The chase at high speed ended fatally at 12:23 a.m. in the Alma Tunnel, where Henry Paul lost control of his car and crashed it into a concrete pillar. The crash was terrible, and there was broken glass and metal all over the place. Princess Diana was seriously hurt, but Trevor Rees-Jones was hurt but still alive. Henry Paul and Dodi Fayed died right away, which was sad. Diana had major injuries including broken ribs, a broken arm, a collarbone that was out of place, and brain damage. Even though doctors tried to save her, Princess Diana died at Petit Salpêtrière Hospital at 6 a.m. On August 31st, 1997, everyone was shocked by the news. Lady Sarah McCorquodale felt the loss very personally and it broke her heart. Sarah went to Paris with her sister Jane Fellows and Prince Charles to bring Diana's body back to England. Lady Sarah gave a moving reading at Diana's funeral that showed how much she loved and respected her sister. Millions of people felt her words, which beautifully captured Diana's kind spirit and lasting effect. The memorial service for Diana's life was very moving, and Lady Sarah and Jane Fellows were strong through their sadness. Millions of people around the world joined them on their sad journey as they mourned the death of a beloved princess. What a terrible thing that happened to the royal family. Before she died, Princess Diana, the people's princess, made an effect that will last forever. What valuable things did she leave behind? Stay tuned to learn about what Princess Diana left behind. Princess Diana was and still is one of the most loved members of the royal family. She is an inspiration to people today. People around the world knew her as the world's most photographed woman from the time she was engaged to Charles until she died. Even though her marriage was troubled, Diana was known for her kindness, style, charm, and charity work. Sarah Bradford, a biographer, said that Charles's constant putting down of Diana made her feel hopeless. Even though she had problems with her marriage and was involved in scandals, Diana stayed very famous, while Charles had a hard time with public opinion. Patrick Jefferson, who used to be her private secretary, said she was organized, worked hard, and loved her kids. Diana's mother said that Diana was loving but sometimes moody. Michael White, a reporter, thought she was smart, clever, and funny. People who knew her well said she followed her heart. Diana was shy when she was young, but she learned to deal with the responsibilities of being a princess and the problems that came up in her marriage. Monica Ali said that Diana's willingness to talk about her eating problem had a lasting effect on public discourse, especially when it came to mental health. Tina Brown noticed that Diana had passive power, which is something the Queen Mother also had. This meant that Diana could naturally use her charm to get what she wanted. People looked up to Princess Diana because she comforted the sick, dying, poor, and unloved. Diana disliked formalities because she was naturally laid back and she liked taking things in a more casual way. However, she brought the royal family's charity work up to date, which made her very famous. Eugene Robinson of the Washington Post said Diana was full of life, activity, and glitz, and Alicia Carroll of the New York Times said she was a breath of fresh air. Anthony Holden said that Diana's breakup with Charles was a turning point that set her on the way to success on her own. Diana's sudden death caused a crisis in the royal household and a lot of sadness and mourning. Andrew Marr said that her death made people feel better, and her son William thought it made people in Britain better people. Diana was named runner-up for Time magazine's Person of the Year award in 1997. In 2020, she will be named one of the 100 Women of the Year. The BBC polled 100 people and she came in third place. Diana was criticized, even though she was a famous person. Some people doubted her ability to do her royal tasks and said she was selfishly helping others. Others didn't like how she used her public image to help herself. Diana's connection with the press was not easy to understand. She sometimes whined that the media was getting in the way, but she was also trying to get attention by giving reporters information. Some people, like Peter Conrad and Christopher Hitchens, said that Diana benefited from the media. Tina Brown thought Diana was smart and in charge, not a weak person who could be manipulated by the media. In order to hurt Prince Charles, Clive Goodman said that Diana had given private information to the press. Princess Diana was played by Sally Bedell Smith as moody, self-centered, and possessive. Smith said Diana did charity work because she wanted to, not because she wanted to solve problems in society. On the other hand, Eugene Robinson said that Diana really cared about her issues. Sarah Bradford said that Diana thought less of the House of Windsor and saw them as foreign princelings. Tony Blair said that Diana was both cunning and attractive. After Diana died, people went from criticizing her to praising her in a big way. In 1998, reporter Yvonne Roberts wrote about this rapid change. There was a quick change in general opinion, which was also noticed by Theodore Dalrymple. Robert didn't think of Diana as a saint or a revolutionary. Instead, he saw her as someone who brought attention to problems like AIDS, leprosy, and landmines. Historian Ludmila Jordova looked at Diana's effects from the point of view of gender, pointing out the problems that attractive women have to deal with. Anne Applebaum said Diana didn't change people's minds, while Jonathan Friedland said she did, but that change happened over time. Peter Conrad and Alan Massey, on the other hand, believed that Diana's influence would continue to affect people today. Monica Alley said Diana was interesting and flawed, and that even though she only lived for a short time, she left a permanent mark. At age 60, Lady Sarah has come forward to confirm rumors that have been going around for a long time. What shocking truth did she finally tell? Check back to find out. Princess Diana's sister finally put an end to the rumor. Fans of Princess Diana's family and the British royal family have been interested in them for a long time. This is what her sister, Lady Sarah McCorquodale, says to clear things up. In an honest conversation, Lady Sarah talked about her shocking experiences with Prince Charles. She said she dated him before he married Diana. Lady Sarah Spencer, Diana's older sister, said that she did date Prince Charles for a short time. In an interview, she brought it up in passing, saying that she had put Charles and Diana in touch. While her sister was dating Charles, Sarah made it clear that she didn't feel bad about it and was happy for her. Some of the Spencer family had lived at Althorpe for more than 500 years. It was a large farm in Northamptonshire. Sarah grew up there, where tradition and the standards of British nobility were strong. Sarah was determined to go her own way, even though her high social status put pressure on her. Sarah met Prince Charles at a pheasant hunt on a friend's farm in 1977. They knew each other through mutual friends. This chance meeting was the start of their short relationship. Charles, who liked being outside, was drawn to Sarah's lively personality, and they quickly found that they both cared about the arts and the environment. Charles was under a lot of pressure to find a good bride at the time, but Sarah's feelings for him were real. Sarah was different from other women Prince Charles had met because she was honest and full of energy. She didn't mind telling him what she thought, which made him challenge her. This led to a run of dates where they got closer. A weekend at Balmoral Castle, the royal family's home in Scotland, was a special date, loving the quiet country life. As their friendship grew, Sarah got to know royal life by going to events with Charles and getting to know the British monarchy better. Sarah always stuck to who she was and said what she thought, even when things were fancy. But dating the future king put a lot of pressure on her, with the media and royal demands becoming too much. Charles liked how independent Sarah was at first, but it became a problem over time. Sarah said some shocking things in an interview, like talking about her personal problems and past relationships. She publicly said she wouldn't marry Charles, no matter what his job was. This caused a media storm which shocked the royal family, who cared about keeping things private. Soon after, they broke up because Charles didn't like being watched by the public and the royal family expected a lot from him. Sarah stayed close to the royal family after their short relationship ended and played a major role in shaping its future. People respected her because she was outgoing and had a lively personality. The breakup made her look like a woman who set her own rules. Lady Sarah is giving love another chance now that she has been through a lot of heartache. Will this new link make you happy and fulfilled, or will it die? Let's find out. Lady Sarah falls in love again. Sarah met Neil Edmund McCorquodale in 1980. He was a wealthy businessman who used to be an officer in the Coldstream Guards. Sarah liked how Neil was honest and straightforward, and their relationship grew. In contrast to her relationship with Prince Charles, their love grew naturally, without any attention from the public. Sarah and Neil got married at St. Mary the Virgin Church in Great Brington, Northamptonshire, on May 17, 1980. It was a small wedding. They had 3 kids named Emily, George, and Celia. Sarah loved being a mum so much and made her home a place to live without any royal pressures. Living in a home in Lincolnshire, the McCorquodale family enjoyed a peaceful and simple life. There were rumors that Sarah was angry, but her life was actually full of finding peace, love, and happiness. As Princess Diana's life got busier with royal tasks and attention from the public, Lady Sarah stepped up and became one of her ladies-in-waiting. Sarah did a great job in every area of this role, which called for loyalty, discretion, and mental support. Sarah became an important person in Diana's life because she was always there for her and showed her support. It wasn't just a title for her job, it showed how much she cared about her sister and her family. Diana always had Lady Sarah with her at official trips and public events. She was Diana's comfort and familiar face in the busy world of royal life. Sarah was Diana's trusted confidante and advisor behind the scenes. She helped Diana deal with royal protocol and personal problems. Sarah took an active role in Diana's charitable work, planning and overseeing projects such as hospital trips and AIDS awareness campaigns. Even though royal life was glamorous and stressful, she never wavered in her commitment to Diana's job. Sarah's constant presence was a rock for Diana during hard times, helping her deal with the constant attention from the media and the public. Do you agree with Lady Sarah that the rumors are true? What do you think this new information about the royal family will mean? Leave your thoughts in the box below. Thanks for seeing this movie. We hope it was interesting for you. Remember to like and subscribe. You can watch the next movie on your screen to catch up on your favorite celebrity news. I'll see you there.